What's up, beautiful people? We are headed to Thailand. Talia, where you at? She over there. We got the bags packed. Off to New York. We going out of JFK. I'm excited. It's gonna be incredible. Alright, the drive to New York was pretty traffic heavy, pretty crazy, but we made it. We got a couple hours to kill before we head off to JFK. We got a late flight. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. It's like 6 now. So, gonna kill some time, get some vegan food, you know what I mean? Yeah, we at the airport. Thankfully, I was able to leave my car with Talia's sister. Some street parking, no worries, no tickets. The first part of our journey. This is 1:45 a.m. flight from JFK to Shanghai. We're about to board. How's it been so far?
Exhausting.
Yeah. Hours in, 1 hour to go. Alright, we're at Shanghai Airport. Just cleaned up in the bathroom. This one did too. We're almost 24, 36. We're like 30 hours into this. Got like 10 more. So after a few more hours in the empty airport, when I say empty, we was in the corner of the airport with literally 0 people besides this one flight that we're about to take. It was like 4 a.m. when we got there. Ain't nobody there. Ain't nothing open. I couldn't use no internet. Whatever. All right, so we had a couple more hours to kill. They passed. And then we got on the flight to Bangkok. It was about a 5-hour flight, if I recall. This was a beautiful flight. Flew over mountains and islands and all sorts of great stuff. But when we landed, I think we were about 15-20 minutes behind. So we were really anxious to get to our transfer flight to Chiang Mai. We had about 2 hours when the flight landed, about an hour 45 when we get off the flight until our flight left. So when we get off the flight, luckily the airport we were at, which was BKK, was super efficient. Like, we were through customs and everything in like 10 minutes tops. But here's the problem. When we started asking people where our transfer was to Chiang Mai via Thailand Air, they were telling us that it was in the other airport. So somehow we have booked a flight from a completely different airport in Bangkok to Chiang Mai. So with that understood, panic sets. We go to the help desk, right, a few times, and they kept telling us where to go. Apparently there was a free shuttle that takes you from airport to airport. We were at BKK. Our flight was at a DMK. So DMK, across town, is where we need to be. At this point, we have about an hour and a half until that flight leaves. We find the counter where the shuttle leaves from, and the dude working the counter looks at our I don't know what you call it, our flight confirmation. Dude working the counter looks at our flight confirmation, and he essentially laughed, and he pointed at the time, and he's like, "You know what time it is and what time it is now?" And we're like, "Yeah, we know." And then he pointed at this warning they have on the shuttle counter. It said, the bus ride can take anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half due to traffic and just how far away it is. So with all this knowledge known, we're like, yeah, we're going right now. We gotta go. So there was a bus that was pretty full, and we were about to walk onto it. And then the dude working the entrance for it was like, he looked at us with our backpacks, and he was like, "Oh, no, you guys can sit over there for the next one." And we were confused, like, no, we got to get on this. So we sit down for literally like 10 seconds, and we get back up. We show him that our flight is leaving in an hour and a half. And he's like, "Oh, fine, whatever." So we were just in standing room for the whole bus ride, which is fine. So we get on that bus. And when I tell you we had the best bus driver in Thailand, I am not lying. This dude was flying, swerving, doing everything he could. He didn't know that we had to get there in an hour and a half, but he was driving like it. So during this drive, we get to see Bangkok, essentially. So this is our first taste of Thailand. I was in awe. It was so gorgeous. There was so much going on. There was what looked like jungle in the middle of the city. There were skyscrapers like I've never seen before, like skyscrapers that look like a diving board. Crazy, if you could picture that. All sorts of beautiful stuff, all sorts of action, all sorts of street food. We got on the elevated highway. Oh, and one thing I forgot, the guy at the counter said that our airport was at Terminal 2, but the bus stops at Terminal 1 first. So get off at Terminal 1 and sprint to Terminal 2. He was laughing. He was like doing the running man. He was like, get off at Terminal 1 and run. We were like, all right, cool. So because our bus driver was a champ, he got there in that hour. So we have, at this point, 30, I think it was around 20 something minutes actually, to get from where we were, which was in the bus, onto the plane that was leaving. So we get off at Terminal 1. We are just our backpacks, so we don't got to wait for no luggage, and we just sprint. We sprint from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2. Now, I've never seen Talia run this hard in her life. This was amazing. We got there, got to the counter, the Thai Lion Air. There was a huge line, obviously. Wasn't for our flight, though. It was for the next flights that they were doing. There was a lady working the express line, and we showed that we were leaving in like 20 minutes at this point. She was like, oh. She had to skip the whole priority line. We went right to the counter. The lady printed our tickets. We didn't have to weigh our bags or anything, which we heard we might have to do with Thai Lion. So we were really happy with that. And we just got our boarding pass. We run to the security. Luckily, there was only like 4 people ahead of us in security line. Somehow, some way, everything was working out perfect for us. We get through that. We have to go find our gate. We get to the gate. I show the boarding pass to the lady at the counter. And she's like, okay, yeah. Yes, you're in the right place. We're boarding in 1 minute. You can't make this up. We got there with seconds to spare. 1 minute to spare. And somehow we messed up, but still made it work. On that bus ride, Talia was talking about booking other flights, and I was like, relax, we're gonna make it, don't worry. But on that bus ride, it was actually impossible for us to make it, but in my mind, we were getting there, no worries. We should have missed this flight, but obviously we didn't. There's some greater force helping us out. The universe, good looks. We made it. So then once we got on this flight, I was exhausted. I knocked out. And then we landed in Chiang Mai. So now we had to get to our Airbnb. First things first, though, we had to get a couple things sorted out. I had to get a SIM card. We had decided I was going to get a SIM card for my phone so we could always have internet. and we had to get some money out. So ATM first, withdrew a bunch of baht, then grabbed a SIM card right in the airport. I believe it was 600 baht for 15 days and a ton of data. I forget how much data, but I did not run out. So yeah, and then we just had to get a taxi to the Airbnb. They told us how to do so in the instructions part of the Airbnb. Very simple. I believe it was 150 baht to get there. We had a great conversation with the taxi driver on how to explain our building to local taxi drivers. And then we got to the Airbnb. We were greeted with a beautiful sunset. It was amazing. And we ordered some food delivery via Grab, which is like Uber, but it's called Grab. It's great. They got food and travel. We used it a ton on this trip. But yeah, we knocked out. Slept, because you got to think at this point it was 40 hours plus of straight travel from when we left our place in New Hampshire to when we laid our heads down in Chiang Mai. And now the adventures begin.